Hello there, friends. Welcome once again to the YouTube channel. This is Pastor James. This is a reaction video and also an appeal for dialogue. The channel is Just Follow Jesus. There's going to be a link in the description below so that if you want to check out his content, you can actually do that as well. The reason I'm responding to this channel, he's mentioned our channel more than once and have said some things here about Advent Media Connect that I think his name is Brother Todd. I think Brother Todd doesn't really understand what we do. So I'm going to see if I can help out, with some of this as well. The first thing that happened with this channel, Brother Todd found a video from Amazing Word Ministries at the exhibition hall, having interviews with different people, which he's entitled to do. You don't have to agree with the man, but he's entitled to do that. However, Brother Todd is condemning not just Amazing Words Ministry, but he's also lumping Advent Media Connect, the Balanced View, in the same package. This is the thumbnail for his video. As you can see, Advent Media Connect is condemned, according to him, and Amazing Word Ministry is condemned. But Adventist League is good. I guess that's what the message is. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what we do. I don't think we have any major relationship with Amazing Word Ministry. He does something different, and that's his work. But I think to lump us all together, that's not correct. And reasons for that, let's listen to a few of his remarks and what he has to say in this video.
You post videos like the enemy of the church. It's like your whole purpose with your videos and your channel is to sow discord among brethren. And let me just remind you that that is one of the things that God calls out as hating, those that sow discord among the brethren. And that's exactly what these type of sensational, controversial videos do. And they're not even truthful in terms of what they present, with things like the Pope's 3 men inside the church or whatever, as if Ted Wilson or Urton Kohler is under the control of the Pope. That's just sensational nonsense. It's irresponsible.
All right, I can see his heart already. So there is a love for the church, and he just doesn't like the sensational nonsense. And there are some ministries, Brother Todd, if you watch this video, I'm with you. There are some ministries who do nothing but bashing the church, right? You may think we are among those ministries. I will say you are sadly mistaken. And I can explain to you why. There was another video that was done by Brother Todd, and also there's going to be a link to his channel below, like I've said earlier. And that video was a critique of one of our videos that we did at GC after the reaffirmation statement was shut down. And Brother Todd is siding with Ted Wilson, saying that, hey, Ted Wilson is correct, the church is correct. And I don't think Brother Todd understands the issue. And we've been going through this for a couple years now. We've read into the matter, but let's listen to his criticism of our ministry and what he says, and then I'll share my thoughts with you. And what I'm looking for is not a fight. I'm looking for a dialogue. I will say, Brother Todd, let's talk, because I think there's some things you don't know. And you're conflating us with a lot of other ministries, and that's actually not correct. The YouTube world is vast. It's like the public square of discussion. There's a lot of debates and discussions on things happening. Even when you look at thumbnails, the thumbnails don't tell the whole story. But again, that's a common mistake. I think I've done the same mistake. There was another brother that I spoke to as well, Brother Mark Brainey from Out of the City's ministry, which I support his ministry. He didn't even know, but he found my video and didn't even know who I was. And he just looked at the thumbnail and went after me in a very negative way. And then I got in touch with him and spoke to him. He's like, oh my Lord, I had it completely wrong. And oftentimes that we run into this, but it takes more than just one video to understand what we do. And those of you who watch our channel, what do you see, right? Do you see Advent Media Connect as a church basher? Or do you see us as people who are trying to call for reform and for change? And do you see how we run things here? We are different than a lot of ministries are doing, and at least that's the way I see it. You let me know what you think. Are we among the people who are just destroying and burning down the city kind of ministry? I don't think we are, but we do raise a voice of protest against the things that are wrong. But here is an assessment from Brother Todd once again in this video. He's speaking about the video that we did the same night that Elder Ted Wilson shut down the reaffirmation statement, immunization statement, and then the GC delegates voted down that statement. I want you to hear what he says.
It's based on Ellen White and it's based on scientific studies. Now, many videos are coming out, controversial videos, and I decided to watch one of them. And this was from Advent Media Connect, I believe their channel name is. And I'll just show you, you can see right there, day one GC in session, delegates request smackdown by Ted Wilson, members are baffled. Well, no, that's not true right off the bat. The members were not baffled. The members voted overwhelmingly to not add this to the agenda.
Okay, this is where he was wrong. I'm not sure if he was there. We were, and every single one of us on this picture were in the place. Okay, that's Pastor Bailey, Elder Brian. Elder Brian was not there. Let me correct that. Pastor James and Justin from the Balance View and myself, we were at GC that day. We were in the stadium. We were in the dorm. Members are baffled. We had the conversation with the members. What people don't know is what was going on among the delegates and what was going on among the people in the pews. Two different worldview. It was so loud and clear. It was massive. Okay, so members were baffled. And I'll tell you what, we had conversation with many delegates as well. Even delegates who did not vote in favor of it, they disagreed with what Ted Wilson did. So these are things that I don't think Brother Todd actually knows. We had the conversation with these people. We're not saying that, I'm not saying I have all the understanding, but we've really looked into this matter and we've talked face to face with the people. So now here is the other question I have to ask. We exposed and spoke that night about what Ted Wilson did. And we've also shown that from Ted Wilson's quotation, there was an obvious error than the one that Brother Todd is talking about now. And we called out the error as well. And lo and behold, the next day, Ted Wilson came and said, oops, what I quoted yesterday was not correct. It wasn't the proper statement. So guess what? Our arguments was actually correct. SDA Pearl's arguments was also correct. LHA, Liberty and Health Alliance arguments, Dr. Vine's argument, Ron Kelly's argument, right? Advent Media Connect's argument for the past 2.5 years has been correct. So Ted Wilson validated the fact, yes, in peer-reviewed science that he quoted informed by, but the truth is it was and peer-reviewed science. And he says, well, that's not the one that we voted. Well, there's no receipts to prove it either. Because when that statement was voted in 2015 and reaffirmed, like, how did we know what was voted? Because we were not given an original receipt. So to make an update to the statement that's been on the church website, it only validates the claims that we've been making. So Brother Todd, you should do an update video to show that Advent Media Connect and many other ministries who has been pointing out this problem, they were actually correct. Now, if you have that humility, and I think you do because I listen to your videos and I see your heart, I can see you love your church and I can see you want what is right and you hate the controversy. I'm with you on that. But there are real issues that you can't neglect. We've been addressing issues. We're not attacking church leaders. Elder Ted Wilson was wrong that day. We were there. And the next day, he had to come back and apologize. We were there. We saw it with our eyes. We shook hands with those delegates. And we even interviewed some of these delegates as well. So who's in the right, who's in the wrong here? It's not really my debate. All I'm simply saying is your assessment of our channel, Brother Todd, is actually incorrect. And I think lumping Advent Media Connect with other ministries that we oftentimes don't even agree with them, Some things, yeah, but most times we don't even agree. We don't even work with them. It's also a mistake. We do things differently. I think I did do a video where I explain what my position here is, and I can. I think I'm gonna try to see if I can explain that again. There are several groups online. When you go on YouTube, a thumbnail doesn't tell the whole story. Some think thumbnails can, but you must go beyond the thumbnail. You have to listen attentively to what is being said in the arguments. Brother Todd says they're saying things that are not true. They don't have any facts. I don't think you've been listening to us at all. Because if you have, you will realize we brought the facts here. We've brought documents, review, we brought videos. And there are things people tell me to talk about, and I'm like, I'm not gonna talk about this because I don't have any major facts on it, right? Making silly claims like Edward Ted Wilson is a Jesuit. We've never done such a thing, and that thumbnail doesn't represent what we believe. We never make this claim, right? All Jesuits, right? That's actually the fact you lumped it in a thumbnail and you put our pictures next to it. So let me explain to you what Brother Todd is doing. The same thing Brother Todd's hates is actually doing. And I would say, Brother Todd, you shouldn't do that. Like, if you don't like it, maybe you shouldn't do it, right? So what you should do is have a conversation with the people and understand why they're saying what they're saying, and listen carefully to the argument and see if it makes sense from a biblical perspective as well as from the spirit of prophecy. And then you make your assessment that day. So what I'm saying is the very thing he's condemning us doing is what he's doing to us. So that means, are you any different? So you're no different, right? So my answer to that is, it's not a fight and a debate and a back and forth videos. I'm going to reach out to you either in an email, you're going to get a message from me, and I'm going to ask for a private discussion. We're not going to do a public debate. I'm going to ask for a private discussion on Zoom with Justin and I. We need to talk. And I think you totally misunderstand where we stand. Totally misunderstand. But I don't blame you for this because a lot of ministries do this, right? Number one, don't judge the book by his cover. When you come on YouTube, most of what you see are different people's perspective and opinions, and there's a lot of different school of thoughts, emotions and views and doctrinal position on things. We at Advent Media Connect, what we do is a little bit different. We don't have an issue with the doctrine of the church, but we do take an issue with bad policies. We protest where there needs to be protest. We call for change and reformation. We never ask people to leave the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We don't even ask to destroy the structure of the church, unlike some people are saying online. We don't even do that. And by the way, I am a member of a Seventh-day Adventist church. I've served as a volunteered lay pastor for 7 years. I'm still an ordained elder in good and regular standing last time I checked. And yeah, travel in different Adventist churches, and we still preach and teach, and we run different ministries, and we work with Seventh-day Adventists. I'm not a member of a cult. I'm not running around doing something all on my own, strange and apart from the general body. We work with the body of the church. Many of the leaders of the church are friends of mine. You may not know this. Many leaders who are in an organized structure are people that we know. We have them on our phones. We talk to them. We have ministries that we're running with some of these people involved, and I will not say any name. They are in full support of what we do because they understand our position. What you may not know, a lot of leadership believe what we believe, and a lot of people at the very top, they understand what we are doing. They don't criticize it, they actually support it. We even get donations from these people. So I say that to tell you, the way you're viewing Advent Media Connect is actually incorrect. If you were to ask the people in the room, they will tell you, man, you are totally missing the mark. Does that mean there isn't some claims to be made against me at Advent Media Connect and some of my videos? Yes, you can make a claim against me. Sometimes I get emotionally charged, and sometimes I say things I wish I didn't say. And sometimes in my videos, I didn't always represent Christ, and I will admit to that. This is a work in progress. This is something the Lord is teaching me how to work with. But on a general approach to the church problems, I am for organization. I am for the 28 fundamental belief of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I don't have any strange doctrinal position on any issues. I don't side with some of the winds of doctrines in the church. I'm for organization. I'm for the leadership. I'm for the doctrine. I'm for the mission of our church as well. I even believe in the method, and I do believe in the spirit of prophecy 100% as well. However, we do take some issues when it comes to UN connections, right? When it comes to immunization statement, when it comes to the policies of COVID that came through the doors of our church and the way it was handled, we take an issue with that. We take an issue with some of the LGBT stuff in our schools and the abortion that our hospitals are supporting, right? We take an issue with that. And if you tell me these things, we're not supposed to talk about those, that means you're church bashing, you're attacking the church. I will say you may need to rethink a little bit because if this is the position you hold, you will never protest against anything that's wrong with the church. So there was a video that I did where I explain very carefully what my position is. Some people understand it, some don't, but unfortunately, we just have to keep moving forward. So let me try to explain that. His name is Rob Berhoff, and he did a really good assessment of how to understand the differences in people's views and approach when it comes to the church organizations, issues, and problems in the church, our doctrinal approach, and also even the way we relate with each other. So when you look at YouTube, it's hard to tell which group is with who, right? So you kind of have to study, you have to listen and communicate a little bit with the people, and then you will understand who they are. But what Brother Berhoff did, it was a beautiful assessment. He calls it avoiding friendly fire in the church, a call for unity. So this is like the map. Let me see if I can make this bigger, and I think this can help a little bit. So don't make the mistake of lumping different ministries together. That's a huge mistake. So here is what Brother Berhoff really argued, and I really appreciate it because it really represents where we stand. So there are three different groups. There is what is known institutional loyalist, he spoke about. There is also principled reformers, and we also have rebel reformers. These are not all the same group. So the institutional loyalists, obviously, they are loyal to the institution, right? Ted Wilson, you can't say nothing bad about him. You can't address him. You can't call him out. You can't address the leaders of our church. You cannot say anything about Adventism. Institutional loyalists will believe that. Oftentimes it's because they work for the church, or sometimes they don't have a lack of understanding. They have a lack of understanding of what's going on, the details and the issues, the compromisation, the apostasy. They don't see it, and they won't say anything, right? So, and anybody who says anything, the institutional loyalists will come after you. So, and I was once in that group because I used to think, man, everything church is doing is great. You can't say nothing about our leaders. Until you read your Bible, you realize Jesus dealt with leaders all the time. And his prophets were sent to address leaders of the church all the time. So that's not a proper position to have. Next to institutional loyalists is what you call institutional protectors, right? These are the people, they want to protect the church from the attacks, the assault, from the rebels, right? And the rebels are very aggressive, right? So the institutional protectors, they're not exactly loyalists. They just want the right things to do. So Brother Todd will probably fall under an institutional protector, right? He may not realize this, but that's where he will fall because he wants to protect the church. And you should, by all means, we should protect the church as much as we can. But we should also protect it from false doctrines as well, from false teachings, from bad policies, from compromisation as well. So the watchman has to sound a trumpet against these things. So we also have the rebels. The rebels are those who are attacking the church. They were never satisfied. They are extreme. Everything is bad. Ted Wilson is bad. Good in the Up is bad. And, and it's true, some of these men are bad, but it goes to a point where they're doing things that you and I don't even agree with. He's like, yo, you're going too far with this. We don't go that far, right? So church is Babylon kind of thing. They may not say it, but they like to make it look like Adventist church is Babylon. You can, and they got all kind of winds of doctrines. So they are the rebel reformers. They hate institution. They don't like organization. They hate conferences, general conference. Anything about general conference is bad. We need to leave the conference alone. The conference is bad, and come to my church, come to my YouTube channel and follow me kind of guy. They are what you call rebel reformers. You kind of have to look out for them, be aware of them. We're not in that group because we are part of a church. I've served as a church. I'm in school. I'm in the church school right now. So I'm still learning, getting my degree, and I'm prospering, looking to work further with the church in the future. We don't know how that's gonna work. We don't know, but I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I don't plan on leaving the Seventh-day Adventist church. I have nowhere else to go. But here's the other thing. There is the principal reformers, right? What you need to know about the principal reformers is that they place liberty of conscience to the level where above the state and the church, and that's where we stand. We are very strong for liberty of conscience. If the church is doing wrong, we're going to call it out. If the world is doing it, we're going to call it out. If the Pope is doing it, we're going to call it out. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, where it is violated, we will call it out. And we, principal reformers, they love the doctrine of the church. They don't dabble into false teachings either. They don't take hold of any false theories. We stay away from that. They love the doctrine of the church. And they have a present truth principle to things, approach to things. But oftentimes, they can be confused with the rebel reformers. And I think what Todd is doing, he is confusing principal reformers, which I would say Advent Media Connect, we are principal reformers, with rebel reformers. We are not exactly the same. And we may not be institutional protectors, but we do believe in protecting the church by preaching the truth, by calling out the error. We do it as well. Are we loyalists to the institution? Yes, to a degree, but we're not loyalists to the point that anything goes, let it fly, don't say anything, right? That's not our position either. So that's the extreme. So we tend to fall right in that group. So I would encourage, I'm going to put a link to Rob's video in the description below. Check it out because he does, and he calls for unity among all these groups because ultimately all of these groups, they really want to see things done right. Some people don't. I can't speak for all. But ultimately, they want to do the right thing, but they're divided and scattered in the church. And I think a time is going to come when we're actually going to come together. Many of us, even among the rebel reformers, I think some of us are going to come together and wash each other's feet and forgive each other. I think Todd, I could sit with Todd and I can see his heart. I can see he really means well because I used to talk just like him, until I begin to read, study, and realize that the enemy has made a lot of inroads in our church. There's been encroachment. There has been infiltration. There has been apostasy, and some of it is very blatant. There's been a lot of bad things. We should fight and speak up and speak out and address these errors from the word of God, from the spirit of prophecy, but a character assassination, going after leadership in a way to condemn them, not exactly, but we will speak about the leaders. We will say, here's where he is wrong, right? The Bible speaks openly about the flaws of the men in leadership too. Right, Jesus has there's Matthew 23 where Jesus openly rebuked the Pharisees. So there's a time for that. We're not saying this is all that we do. We do different things. So I would say take a minute, Todd, if you're watching this video, take a minute to have a proper assessment of our YouTube channel. So yeah, it might take a little bit of time, but do an assessment of YouTube channel, like go there. Yes, lately we've been talking about GC because we were in a season of GC. We highlight these things, spoke about these things because, hey, our church is going through a turmoil right now and the discussions must be had. But if you go to our channel, what you may not know, in many of our live streams, we have testimonies, we have Bible studies, we have prayer. So it's not like you also have to assess our channel, and we have apologetics here as well. Get to know some of that. We do Bible prophecy. We bring different guests on the channel. We've worked with Liberty and Health Alliance. We are teamed up with people in the conference, outside of the conference, people we're not with the rebels. Okay, we don't work with the rebels. But however, we work with anybody who loves souls, who wants to promote the truth, right? But we're not trying to destroy the church. We believe in organization. But we call out the errors. We do protest. We're not afraid of protesting. Jesus protested. We do have the spirit of the Protestant reformers. We do have it here. Okay, so that's why we are principal reformers. I would say take time to get to know us. Bible Impulse, we've worked with several ministries here. We promote them. We highlight them. We work with Strange Normal. So, yeah, we have a lot of friends, and these are good friends of ours. But what you need to do is take a minute, get to know us a little bit more. By the way, even Mark Brenny, who was once accusing us as a rebel reformer, came to YouTube, came to Advent Media Connect, and was hosted as a guest. Him and his lovely wife are coming back on Thursday to do an amazing presentation. And yeah, we work together now. We are not enemies. So what I'm trying to say is get to know me a little bit more. Let's have a conversation. I will reach out to you, Todd, if you see this video. Get to know us, But also be careful with the thumbnails. The thumbnails don't tell the whole story. It's meant for you to click and watch, but when you do watch our videos, you will see there's something balanced there. We at least try to be as balanced as we can. I don't always hit the mark. But that's why we bring different people to the channel to help balance in the conversation. If I go far left, somebody will address that far left and address it in a more balanced way. If I go far right, we try. We have several people. Every Thursdays, there's the Watchman Report. We have those conversations. So get to know us a little bit more before you make videos that do not rightly represent us. And I think people in the comments will tell you this too, because the people who follow us, they know who we are. There are some people who will never love what we do. I can't stress that. They're always going to find something wrong, and that's okay. What I will say is if you don't like people making videos that are against the church in a way, you kind of have to be careful making videos against those same people as well. It tends to make you look like you have a double standard, which I don't think you intended to do that. You're just trying to warn the body of these men, but in the process of doing it, you're doing the very thing that you don't like that they're doing, right? So you kind of have to be careful with that. I will reach out to you. I will send you a message. We will connect. We will talk. And hopefully you can come back and make some corrections on your end. Thank you for listening. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.